Scott Russell, Global Freedom Movement, Two Free Scott, digital currencies. I think they're on their way. And in this video where they're talking about what's happening in the UK with that, this new Prime Minister, which I can't even remember his name, he's going to shove it through. And these people are just drunk on power. They think they're helping. I personally think it's not going to be an immediate, in one currency, the paper currency goes and the digital comes in. I think what it's going to be is parallel. They're going to bring in the digital currency parallel to the regular currency. And I think they're going to let inflation, to a large extent, do away with regular currency. It's going to make it harder and harder to trade in. And eventually they'll get to a spot where they just say that currency doesn't exist. So that's kind of what they do. If you listen to, I've got some video on there from Venezuela, Brazil. You know, Brazil, I think in that video from memory, Raul was talking about how the Cruzeiro was their money, which got hyperinflation and was going terrible. And now some of you are going to know better than me, but I think it's back in the 80s. Maybe put it in the comments if you're somebody that's up on this. But, and I'm vastly generalising here, probably butchering the details of it, but they went to bed one night, pretty much, woke up the next day, and it was the real. The Cruzeiro was gone, and currency, replacement like that is a thing, a trick of governments to try to absorb inflation. So I think our inflation, you know, the regular dollars in a lot of our countries, the pounds, whatever, going to continue to inflate and maybe even head into the regions of hyperinflation. But they'll have a digital currency that'll be solid in the background, parallel to that. However, the details of that are, I don't know. I might be again slaughtering the economics of that. But and I believe what'll happen is, it's, if you want to buy it in the pound, it might be $10 a loaf of bread, but if you buy it with the digital currency, it's 50 cents. So it's coercion again. They're going to use the new global currencies to do that. We're seeing articles coming out about digital IDs. They're coming. They're already here. I put an article up. I think I took it down in the end, but there's one on the Gates Foundation has founded a clear tattoo that has your vaccination records on it. So they have everything in place. They've worked on this for decades. And, man, anyway, so take a look at this video, and at the end, I'll come back on.
As I said yesterday, we're not meant to call the new PM a globalist because it's supposedly anti-Semitic. Funnily enough, Rishi doesn't look Jewish, except that he's the same height as Sammy Davis Jr. Anyway, whether we're allowed to call him a globalist or not, he's a virtual parody of one. For example, he's in favour of a digital currency.
Today, I'm proud to say that under the UK's presidency, the group of the world's 7 most advanced economies, the G7, is launching a set of public policy principles for retail central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Central bank digital currencies could be a digital version of money, a bit like a digital banknote that could be used alongside physical notes and coins. Unlike most of the digital money people use daily today, it would be issued directly by a central bank, like the Bank of England in the UK.
Oh, a digital banknote issued by the Bank of England. That sounds very nice. What our new Prime Minister doesn't reveal is that his father-in-law's company, Infosys, is, quote, a global leader in next-generation digital services. Who says that? Oh my, Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum. The bloke who likes to boast that he penetrates the cabinets. Rishi's family business is also in favour of a so-called digital stability board. Yeah, he's all about the stability, Rishi. And this digital stability board would regulate all digital payments, as they do in, China. Ava Vlaardingerbroek is here. Ava, why do you think Western governments are so hot for digital currency?
The magic word, Mark. It's all about control. Because as much as this man says, of course, that it's just digital money, it's not just digital money. And that's what people have to understand. When politicians or Klaus Schwab or anybody who is a globalist and wants globalist policies speaks about digital currencies, what they mean is a financial monetary system that is governed on a global level, or at first governed by, indeed, your bank. So it's not really money. The more accurate term I would say for this is that you get credit from your bank that is potentially what they call programmable. So that means that you don't actually possess your money. You are basically a serf to a neo-feudalist system, in this case, the bank or the government, that decides for you what you can spend your money on. That is what is important here. CBDCs are, in essence, programmable. So the government could potentially decide what you can spend your money on and what you can not spend it on. And we all know, of course, what that type of world will look like and what you can and cannot spend your money on. It's very clear. They make it incredibly clear by tracking, for example, already our banks in Holland, for example, do that. Your carbon emissions, well, then, buying a piece of meat, for example, ooh, that's a lot of carbon score. Buying a plane ticket, for example, is also a red screen. So it's an incredibly dangerous system that will allow the government to dictate what you can spend your money on and what you cannot spend your money on.
Yeah, it's a way of replacing money as we've historically understood it for thousands of years with something that's closer to those kind of supermarket coupons that entitle you to buy products that are only approved by the supermarket. In this case, as you say, we'd be going to, you'd want to book a fantastic beach holiday in the Greek islands, but they'd say, oh no, I'm sorry, your carbon footprint only allows you to take a bus trip in a soggy, damp part of England. They would get to approve each and every purchase.
Exactly. And when people think, oh, but this is maybe, something of the far future, or this is a conspiracy theory, it isn't. Like I said, we already have banks in the Netherlands that track your carbon credit. Our biggest supermarket has just announced that they want to list your carbon score on the bottom of your receipt. So they will be tracking quite literally what you eat and then say, okay, this is high in carbon emission, this is lower. And obviously, big capital is not doing that for fun. They're not doing that for awareness. They're doing it with a purpose. And that's also why not just, big capital is doing this, but why governments all around the world, including now your new prime minister, are pushing for this. So India, for example, has already rolled out a pilot version of their digital currency. The European Commission has recently appointed Amazon, the American super company, to build the infrastructure for the European digital coin. And the U.S. has also recently come forward with a statement saying we are going to look into this. So they're ramping it up. It's happening simultaneously. And of course, we already have a perfect system in place with our magical little QR code that we all had to use during COVID that could serve as your digital wallet. And they're going to sell it to you as being highly convenient.
Why do you think people don't find it creepy? Because it's creepy that the government is examining whether you had a quarter-pound cheeseburger or a half-pound cheeseburger that blows through your... It's creepy that the state is doing that. Why do citizens not find it creepy?
I think a lot of people have still not realized that the government is not their friend, and that all the nice pretexts and the nice words that the government use work. So they'll say, obviously, in this case, oh, it's good for the climate. If we can track your carbon emission, then that way we can save the planet. That's how they present it to people, of course. And sadly, we all know that there are a lot of people who buy that type of propaganda and who don't see that there is a much more sinister plan behind all of this. So I don't know when people are going to wake up to this fact and start realizing that maybe these people don't have their best interests at heart. But the time to wake up is just about right now, because once they decide what you can spend your money on, you are a literal serf to the system.
Yeah. Yep, that's absolutely right, Ava. We have to stop this before it happens. Always great to see you.
It's a disturbing video, but I think it's just a fact of life. We're going to see digital currencies. We're going to see digital IDs. What's even more disturbing is the fact that places like the USA are being run by globalist elites that are non-elected, or even politicians who are no longer elected. I don't think there's a person alive that believes that Joe Biden's actually in charge of that country and running it. They purposely allowed that man to be in there so they could use him as a puppet and pull his strings. The man probably thinks he's in control, and he has zero control. So it's there, it's coming. USA, your currency is going to collapse. It's already decided. That's why they're printing money so fast, giving it out so fast. They need inflation to be able to bring in digital currency. If they have a massive inflation, like I've mentioned, then they can say that inflated currency is going to cost you so much to live on the US dollar. But if you go to digital currency, you'll be able to survive. And that's, I believe, how they're going to phase one out and bring the other in. And eventually, like we've seen in numerous countries around the world, the US greenback, nobody will trade it. It'll be worthless. You'll see it laying on the streets, thrown out the window. Nobody's even picking it up. I saw a vision of it 20-something years ago. Mark my words, the US currency is on its way out. If your mattress is stuffed with money, get it out and spend it on something that's going to help you. And I've got plenty of videos up there talking about suggestions, practical suggestions on what to do with your money, because I don't believe there's a final solution on some of those things, a final answer, I should say. Yeah, God bless you.